London walked, bussed and queued its way to work as the biggest tube strike in 13 years brought the capital to a standstill. 20,000 TfL staff walked out. No trains have or will run at all today. If their aim was to knock the night tube off track, then it could be called a success. TfL admitted today the 24-hour service is no longer guaranteed to start in September. Simon Harris reports on the chaos and the consequences.
Mid-morning over West London and an extraordinary sight at Neasden Underground Depot. Row after row of parked trains with no one to drive them. This was turning back the clock to a distant era of industrial action, a complete shutdown of the tube network. The first strike in more than a decade where managers couldn't even run a skeleton timetable. Not far away on the A40, the fallout. Miles of queuing traffic on one of the main roads into central London. At Stratford, another blast from the past. Retired Routemaster buses pressed back into service. At crowded bus stops, the police found themselves on special duties. Part bus conductor, part bouncer, keeping a lid on any aggro as stressed commuters became increasingly frustrated.
It's a bit around here, people are savages that they rush here.
And at 9 o'clock I've been waiting for 2 hours for a bus.
It's warm, it's packed, it's really uncomfortable, we're going to be very late for work. We are tourists and so we are, how can I say, astonished.
It was a similar story at London's mainline stations, like Liverpool Street.
It's been a nightmare, to be honest.
I feel like a sense of community. Everyone's like together in the struggle. Yesterday my feet were hurting because I wasn't prepared, but train is on today, I've got my shoes in my bag.
This was Paddington, with its rail link to Heathrow, the gateway to London for many air travellers.
I'd rather not have got off a transatlantic flight to do this. What they do today, and for tourists, it's very pleasant.
There was one other popular form of transport, much in evidence today, as even more commuters found a reason to embrace London's cycling revolution. At the heart of the dispute is the row over London's new 24-hour night tube. For the first time, the Mayor hinted the launch planned for September the 12th could be put back.
I don't give a stuff about any particular date or deadline. There will be a night tube.
How likely is it the night tube launch will have to be postponed?
I think it's very likely, and I think Boris Johnson would love to pin it on the unions.
Tonight, another case of overheating on the buses. At King's Cross, the long arm of the law was reaching inside a single-decker as police officers engaged in a tug-of-war with a passenger who appeared reluctant to get off. Simon Harris, ITV News.
So no tubes till the morning. Let's see how tonight.
Incredibly busy, to be honest, Lucrezia. Much busier than we'd expect at this time of night, but I should say it's been busy all afternoon. Plenty of commuters heeding TfL's advice and catching trains and buses much earlier. On the trains, the local stopper trains from Victoria to London Bridge have been particularly packed as they snake their way through South London. But here at Victoria, you get a real sense just how many people are turning to the buses. Of course, extra buses out on our roads today, as Simon mentioned. There have been long queues. It's impossible to walk around Victoria Station at the moment on the pavements because they are packed with people, patiently, I should say, waiting to catch a bus, and in many cases having to wait for 3 or 4 buses before they can board. And then when they're on a bus, well, I'm afraid to say no one's going anywhere very quickly, partly because of the extra buses, but plenty of people also turning to cabs and bringing their cars in today. One of the worst affected roads being the Embankment, always very busy tonight. Plenty of people just want to get home as quickly as they can. Here, though, people have been patient in those queues, nothing like what we've seen at King's Cross, as Simon mentioned at the end of his report there, where police were called to one bus because they had to stop too many people pushing on because they were desperate to get that crucial spot to get out. The police say they're here for people's safety. The advice is plan your journey, allow extra time, but be prepared for a long, cramped and sweaty, I'm afraid, commute home.
All right.